Good evening. You watching me, how are you doing today? It's another Friday. So we'll come live and we actually take our class up community, the Telegram communities to get empowered and to it's how to raise an independent child. It is a skill up challenge still ongoing, and this is how to raise an independent child. The truth of the matter is your child cannot be productive if they are not independent. Yes, if they cannot take initiative, if they cannot apply common sense, if they have to be told what to do every single time, if they are not self-starters, they may not be productive. Because no matter what it is, they will need to actually go on their own without you coming to breathe down their necks, or without you coming to tell them what to do. So today is all about how we can raise independent children. My name is Enimi Orebo. I'm the lead coach at the Visionary Parents Academy, an academy where parents come together, set their vision, set their goals, and get empowered on practical skills to achieve their vision. This month is our month of skill up. A month we skill up our children. It's been an amazing journey. And like I always say to them, if you take action, you are going to get results. If you don't take action, you will not get results. Your result is in your actions. So take action, you will get results. Do not take action, you will not get results. Nah, there's no magic. Take action and you get results. So I want to encourage you as you come here tonight, as you listen to me, please take action. Get your pen, get your paper, get your water, and please take action, because it's only in taking action that you are going to get results. And again, it's all about how to raise independent children. Now, one of the things one of my experiences with parents is, rather, one of the questions when parents come and they have complaints about their children, especially when it comes to lack of productivity, I realized something we have not created. Like last week, we learned about, I taught rather about how to create an atmosphere that inspires productivity. We don't have an atmosphere that inspires productivity. And one of the things it doesn't happen in one day. It is in phases. Yes, you start from when your child is small. The same thing happens with independence. You see children you see parents rather, when their children are teenagers, they now expect the child to be able to do something. They expect the child to be able to think, to behave. The other day in our free community, the Visionary Parent Tribe, someone shared a video of a child, a teenager, maybe a preteen. The man was eating, maybe the father was eating, and was going to eat hard food and hard water and hard soup. And the boy brought water and asked the father, where should I put the water? And the father said, pour it in my soup. And the boy actually turned the water into the soup. Into the soup. And so someone said, I expect the child at this age to understand what to do. It is the truth. And it is what we do in parenting. We expect our children at a certain age to know what to do. But I always say, when your child is not meeting expectations, when your child's mental age does not seem to tally with their chronological age, because the chronological age is the age that is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. That's the chronological age. So you expect that, hey, except the child has mental difficulty, the child should be able to behave in a certain way, like that is at par with the child's chronological age. Now, if the child's mental age is not at par with the child's chronological age, then you want to sit back and find that, reflect, really find out what has gone into the child over the years. Because many times, what we do as parents, we do not allow our children to grow independent. We don't allow their mental age to actually grow along with their chronological age. We are always jumping in the way, and at the end of the day, we want them to behave their age. They are not going to behave their age because over the years we have not allowed them skills, practices. So when parents come several times talking about their preteens, complaining, I want to ask them, over the years, what have you been doing? So it is not just one day. Your child will not just wake up one day and say, okay, they are taking initiative. No, initiative, they have common sense, they are independent, they are able to be productive, they are being responsible. No, it will not happen in one day. It is the things the system you have put in them. They will not learn it in one day. Nothing is learned in one day. Nothing is learned in one day. So today is about us sitting back and deciding to make our children to be more independent. It's practical. It's something we can do. Unfortunately, for very many parents, we have very many reasons, valid ones, really, valid reasons, or rather, reasons that seem valid for us not to encourage independence in our children. So today's class is about us actually how we can raise independent children, and the skills our children need to be independent. That is the areas you need to look at in your parenting, in your child, the things you need to focus on, how you need to grant your child independence in those areas, and the particular areas you need to grant your children independence, or rather you need to focus on in granting independence to your children. So I'll be sharing from my book, Raising an Independent Child. Okay, sorry, that was network. Like I was saying, I'm going to share this ebook with the parents in the academy, in the Skill Up Your Child Challenge class. And if you want it, you can reach me and I'll tell you, just pay a token and you will get it. Now, one of the things that usually happens is that we don't realize we are not giving our children room to be independent. A lot of us, we are actually over parenting. A lot of us, we are always hovering around helicopter parenting. We do not realize it. For example, I did not even realize, I thought I was giving my children a great deal of independence some years ago, until one day my daughter said to me, I knew I was going to do that already. I know what to do, you know. So then I paused and I realized that it simply means that I'm not giving them enough time, because the thing is, very many of us were impatient. You're impatient. You give your child, you assign a chore to your child. Your child is going to do it. Maybe your child is taking a little time, and then you are telling your child what to do next. Now, the more you tell your child what to do next, even when they already know what to do, the more they see that, okay, the more they begin to think that maybe they do not know what to do. They'll have to wait for you to tell them what to do. So at the end of the day, they are going to be less productive, because when you expect them to be able to take their initiative, when you expect them to apply common sense and go do something, they will not do it. Why? Because your voice is always there to tell them what to do. So when they are away, they will not know what to do. They will not, when you are not there, rather, they will not know what to do. When you're not telling them what to do, they will not know what to do. Let me give you a practical example. It's just like, okay, you as an adult, you rely on alarm clock, right? You rely on your alarm clock to maybe to wake up or to do something. Sometimes you are in bed, you're waiting for the alarm clock to ring before you go and do what you want to do. That's the typical situation. So when the alarm clock doesn't ring, what happens? You're in bed. Sometimes maybe your alarm clock is 40. You oversleep. You forget it. Then you realize, oh, my alarm clock is 40 or something. The same thing that happens. So if you're always telling your child what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, always jumping in the way, you are not allowing them do what they are supposed to do. They are going to be less productive, because they are waiting for your prompt all the time. Even when they don't want to wait for it, they are waiting for it. Their mind is consciously telling them, okay, I may not make the right move. So, or the way you are telling yourself, okay, I may wake up too early, I may wake up too late, I may not wait, I may not make the right move. You know, however, unfortunately, what happens is, when you have programmed yourself as a parent, you've programmed yourself several times with alarm clock. At a point, you get used to it. You just wake up. Like, for example, I wake up 5 o'clock. I woke up for something, 4:45, 4:28 most of the time. Because from when I was small, I had been programmed like that. But when it comes to parenting, we don't, even when the alarm clock is no longer there, I still wake up. But when it comes to parenting, we do not take that alarm clock away. We do not take the alarm clock away. So we make our children incapable of functioning without us jumping in the way. So when you expect them to produce, they cannot produce, because they are waiting for you to push them. And then you are wondering, why can't you do it yourself? Nah, You have not allowed them to be productive. You have not allowed them, you've not allowed them to be independent. And being independent minded or being independent actually helps your child to be productive. So I was talking about my child. So my daughter said to me, Mommy, I know already, I said, okay, now not every child that can say that. I have three children. My son will not say that. Now he will just keep quiet and wait for my prompt. So my daughter can say, okay, mommy, I know already. I know I can handle it. I can go on from here. Because every child is not the same. I keep talking about it. With some children, for every child, you need to be patient. Very super patient. But with every children, your patience actually will come from different angle. Because some children, you need to be patient in a particular over a particular behavior. With some other children, it's a different ball game entirely. Okay, back to it. So when she said that, I said, okay, I reflected, I realized, okay, I actually have been always jumping in the way. I don't even give them time to express themselves, to experiment. Like I was saying, I give them a chore and they are doing it. Maybe I feel they are slow. I'm just telling them what to do next, what to do next, what to do next, something like that. I'm not giving them time to think for themselves. I'm telling them how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. I'm not giving them time to think for themselves. I'm not giving them time to make mistakes. I'm not giving them to face consequences. I'm not giving them time to learn from the consequences of their actions. So that actually gave me like a wake up call, like, hello, wake up. So I gave myself a wake up call, and I said, okay, I was going to stop jumping in the way and hovering about. And coincidentally, I think the week two or 2 weeks after, after that incident or so we're having what is it called? October 1st. Yes. My children were going to celebrate October 1st in their school, and the school asked them to wear green, something with a touch of green and a touch of white. So I just realized that these children, they don't have something with green and white. So, oh, thank you so much, ma. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Yes, welcome, ma. So my children don't have green and white too. I was just thinking. Usually, I would just go and start helping them sort out what they wear, because I didn't buy anything. I didn't plan for it. But that day, I just told myself, okay, no, I did not have green and white. I was certain. I said, let them sort them. Anything they like, let them wear. I don't have green and white. I'm not making plans for that. Guess what? Actually, my son then, he went in, and for himself, he brought out a green trousers and a white trousers. He was able to sort himself out, combine clothes that were green and white he could wear. I could never have thought of combining those clothes. I probably would have just gone there, picked anyone and given to him. And he is someone that is not a pusher, that would just say, okay, and he will go with them. After that second incident, I said, whoa, it is time for me to really, really, yes, good evening, ma. Thank you so much, ma, for joining. It is time for me to actually stop this overparenting. It's overparenting when you're always telling your children what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. So that was it. And guess what? It's been years. It should be about 5 years or so. It has been amazing. It has been beautiful. It has been, and guess what? When you allow your children this independence, you are even more relaxed. You are more relaxed. Like, you are not going to pressure yourself. I see parents that their children are like 12, 10, 14. They have 4 children, and they are still talking about getting people around to help them do a lot of things in the house. And I'm wondering why, even when they cannot readily meet those needs, they just want it. I'm wondering, what is your child doing? Your child cannot wash his or her clothes by himself. Your child cannot sweep the house. It's not as if you live in a mansion that the house is so big. Your child goes to school in the morning, hello, even if they leave the house 7 o'clock every day, there are still chores they can do. Except they leave the house 6 o'clock and they come back maybe 6, 7 o'clock, you know that, oh, it's so tight for them. There are 1 or 2 things they can do. There's a space on Saturday for them to do things around the house. There's extra time on Sunday for them to help out. It is not, people think you are abusing your child, or it's poverty that make children want to pick up chores. See, let me tell you, I know some people who say, oh, I know people who all their lives they didn't have to do anything, they didn't do anything, and even think that they are not doing anything. It's okay. Yes, it's fantastic. But see, everybody is not the same. Every life doesn't have how do I put it? Life is not predictable. You cannot predict the pattern. Recently, I met someone. The father was very wealthy in those days. A maid. I don't want to describe too much, so that in case she watches this video she doesn't feel, oh no, I'm just using it as an example for us to understand. The father was very wealthy and the man has many children. Unfortunately for her, she got married and not so fortunate and all of that. Now she is back to, and the father is also wealthy again, and so she now living literally at the mercy of some of their relatives who are comfortable. Why? Because she doesn't have that spirit of starting. Because when her father was wealthy, they had, according to her, they had maids and nannies everywhere. So they were not allowed to grow on their own. Everyone was always speaking after them, doing things for them. Now they are grown. Now let me say something here. You see, everyone is not the same. Temperament always comes to play. I have a friend whose husband was pampered as a child. He was an only child. According to her, he only needed to just see something like, oh, mommy, this bicycle is cute. And the next day, the mom is buying the bicycle for him. Because the mom was very comfortable. So she didn't have anything to do with her money. She didn't have much to do with her money. So the money was on him. So he only needed to just see something and say, mom, this thing is fine. The mom was getting it for him. Now, guess what? Good evening, ma. Welcome, ma. Guess what? The mom is no longer in that position because things happen, life happened to the mom, and the mom now depends on him for her livelihood. The mom was someone who didn't plan, who didn't have any assets or anything. So when life happened to her, she just went from grace to grass. So luckily for her, he was already a grown man when life happened to the mom. Even when I knew them then as adult, the mom was still doing well, and the mom was still literally supporting his family, like support his family. Then I used to wonder, because in the part of the world I come from is like let me say the way they say it. When you born pikin, pikin will born you. You know what that means. When your parents, even no matter how comfortable they are, they still want you to play your role as their children, pay their bills and all of that. So I used to like wonder, now wow. So this grandma will still do all these things. But guess what? When life happened to the mom and no support from the man was able to pick up himself. The man was able to hustle. Today he's still hustling. Why? Because of his temperament. Choleric, like these choleric people that are restless, naturally restless, they are go-getter. That is who the man is. So even though he was not allowed, he was pampered as a child, because that, of course, that's being pampered nature of him still reflects in a lot of ways, his choices, everything. But see, that spirit to fight, to hustle, that spirit of self starting, he has it because naturally he's endowed with it. But there are some children that are not self starters. They don't have it in them, and they are not going to have it in them naturally on their own. So you are not doing them a favor. In fact, you are doing them a great disservice by also now pampering those kind of children. Really? So it is why when people say, oh, I know this particular family, they have never lifted a pin all their life and they are doing well. I say it is a good thing. But what if life happens to them tomorrow? Luckily for such families, their parents may have legacies that will last them a lifetime, and they will pass on to their children's children. So they are lucky. Now, what if life happens to them tomorrow? Are they prepared for it? So raising independent children is preparing your children for life. If things happen, we see a lot, a lot. The other day I was teaching my children about something. God, if the way I teach my children, if the way I teach my children, God says yes to all of them. If you take your time to teach your children and pray that God says yes to them, I tell you, we'll see their back. That's my prayer. I was teaching my children, I said, God gave everybody a brain. So I was telling them that, do you know that, have you ever sat down to wonder why people, like, let's say Elon Musk, for example, he keeps inventing, bringing different inventions. Let's look at Thomas Edison. If you look at his history, look at all the things he invented. Do you know why he does that? Do you know that why he was able to do that? I was telling them, I said, do you know why you have we have um, tailors, fashion designer in my neighborhood. When I going and coming back from school, past her shop, I said she sews amazingly beautiful dresses. I said, do you know why she's able to do this in over and over again? I said, because she's always practicing. So I always tell them, say, if you always practice on your skill, you are going to so improve on it. You are going to get ideas every single time you get ideas. I tell them, I write books. So many of my books, I have tens of books I have not even edited or put together. I say I keep having these ideas. Why? Because I'm always exercising my brain every single time. I'm inspired. I'm parenting inspired. I'm raising children inspired. I'm how children to behave well inspired. That is why, because I'm using my brain constantly in that aspect. So even today I was telling them, I said, but if you don't use your brain in that aspect, you are going to be like, you're going to be redundant. You're going to get rusty. Like, so because you are not using it. Like, one of the things I tell them is, if you don't use it, you will lose it. If you don't use it, you will lose it. Like the story of the talents in the Bible. The one God gave one talent didn't use it, and he lost it. So there are people who have just one talent. They do amazingly well with it. They do so well with it. There are people who have multi-talent. There are people who have one, just that one. If they go out with that one, they are going to outshine people who have millions of talent. Why? Because they are using it and developing it. The same thing happens to your child. If you do not allow your child to grow independence, they are going to lose it. We see people, they are doing one thing all their life, is one thing they are doing. You see people, they can't tweak, they can't improve, they can't diversify. Even they are doing one particular thing, that is what they will stick with all their life. Apart from the fact that they are not daring, they are not creative. It is not just because, oh, they don't have creativity. It's not just because, oh, maybe they are afraid to take risk. They are not creative. They are not creatively minded, because when they were small, they were not allowed to think for themselves. They were not allowed to practice independence. They were always told what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and all of that. Even the days they manage to do things on their own, they are rewarded with negativity. We do that all of the time. So at the end of the day, our children are less productive, because we are not raising the ears. If you don't use your talent, you will lose it. Absolutely, man. If you don't use it, you will lose it. Tell your children that you have talent. It is why you wake up. No matter how talented you are, talents are raw. Skills is you refine them. Your own talent remains at the talent level. When you use it, it becomes skills. You practice, you develop it, you grow, it becomes skills. So the thing is, we are not raising our children to be independent. If you don't raise your children to be independent, they are going to be less productive, because they're always waiting for you. Now, a time will come when you will now require them to be able to take initiative. It is the challenge many parents have. I respond to every time when it comes to parenting. When you now expect your child to be independent, able to think for themselves, able to do things for themselves, they are not able. This one is not theory. It's not read from the book. It is what it is. It is practical. So here is the thing. Like I said, I'm sharing from my ebook, and I'm going to be sharing this ebook with you in the Skill Up Your Child class. And if you want it, if you're not in the Skill Up Your Child class, because this is an open class, then you can ask and you just pay a token and you get it, 1,000 naira. Just pay 1,000 naira. It's a really empowering ebook. I just saw that earlier on. I was reading it. I said, this ebook, now, wow, this is so value packed. I absolutely fell in love with it again. So now let's look at one of the reasons we overparent. One of the reasons we don't allow our children independent. One is they believe that the child is too young to take up responsibilities, certain responsibilities. Yes, it happens a great deal. We believe that, oh, our children are too young to take up certain responsibilities. We hear parents say, no, they are still too young. There's a lot of time to do this thing. See, it's not about the time they have ahead of them. To do these things. It's about what they are learning. Every single phase, every single phase in your child's life, there are skills your child needs. And those skills, they don't get them by they get them by exploring, hands-on. Do you know where they learn them most? Let me shock you. They learn those skills most by making mistakes. Yes. When they make mistakes, they learn from it. Naturally, human beings learn by association. The average person learns by association. Any single thing around you, you learn by association. It is why I say when you flog your child, it is not necessarily the flogging that is making your child learn. It is apologies, network is out to deal with me this evening. Okay, so I just hope that I'm able to overcome the network hitches. Okay, so I was saying that children learn by association. Everyone learns by association. So if you can also get another thing for your child to associate the experience you want them to have or the learning you want them to learn with, that is a better alternative than hitting or something like that. So I said one of the reasons why we don't allow children independent, children don't get to become independent or we overparent they are too young for certain responsibilities. We just feel they cannot take on certain responsibility. It is why one of the things, it is why you belong to parenting communities. You can ask questions and you will learn that, okay, your child can. The other day I put on Facebook, I said, why does your child not put on your burner, the gas cooker at 10? People came with a lot of excuses. Some people feel, oh, the child is too young. There's always a time to start. No, nobody is disputing there is not the child cannot start anytime. You can learn to cook anytime. It is not about the learning to cook. It's about the skills they are learning, what they are learning at that time. Every age, there are things your child to learn. There are skills your child should have. As they grow older, then the skills. Let me give you a practical example. In my proud to now, no, when my children were much younger, we had a roster for everything. Oh yes, I had a roster. I've shared this several times on Facebook. I had a roster for children, everything they squabble over, every single thing. Who a remote control, who sits on this particular chair, who drinks water with this particular cup, who eats with this particular spoon, who all those things that just give them unnecessary bickering. We had a roster. So today you use this remote. We had it drawn, a roster. Like I just don't come and say it verbally to them. No, I have everything structured because I've always operated on structure. I have everything structured. So we had a roster. So someone in charge of the television. Okay, we have 7 days in a week. I have 3 children. You take it, then they take it 2 days a week, and the last day was for me and my husband to decide whoever be in charge of the television. So we had a roster for them. But now, my oldest child is 12. I do not have a roster for them again. Why? Because they have passed that stage. I have laid the foundation and they have learned. Now I see them doing negotiations on their own. Now I see them saying, oh, let's create a roster. Now I see them, anything they like, opening the gate. We are going out and coming in, opening the gate. I saw them that, okay, we are going to have a meeting. We're going to decide how we are going to be opening the gate. Since my daughter doesn't like opening the gate at all, so my son feels cheated. So we're going to have a meeting on how to open the gate. So whoever is we have something we call rotational leadership in the house. Rotational leadership in the house. So whoever is in the leader should be the one opening the gate or something. Consign me. Shebi I dey drive come on the open gate. I dey drive come the open gate. That is my own. So I'm not going to interfere. I've laid the foundation. So that is it. You are allowing them grow. Every phase, they grow. So if you don't give your child responsibilities, you feel, oh, they cannot do it. Nah, you're not teaching them independence. And there is nothing you will teach, they will not learn. Once you teach them, they will learn it. My 7-year-old, however, with some children, you have to be patient. Instead of you to say, no, you will not teach it at all. Just be patient. My 7-year-old has been learning to put on the gas for a very long time. To strike the matches, I don't even want to use lighter deliberately because lighter is long, they will just light it and put it there. No, I wanted them to he's someone that everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. He's someone that, okay, growing up, you say, okay, go to the room, and he won't want to go to the room alone because of that fear. So he's someone that just wanted him to be a bit brave, to be braver than he is. So I just, I mean, deliberately let him experience some things that will actually help him face his fears. So strike the matches and put it on. Since he was about 5, he has volunteered to cook. Even till now, he's so eager to cook. The other day, he made noodles. Network has its plans, and I hope I overcome it today. So I was saying the other day, he said to me, "Mommy, I can make spaghetti." I said, "Okay, fine. Let's see how it goes. You may even end up making soup and all of that for us." So teach, you patiently teach. You keep teaching patiently. So I think it was 5, 6, between 5 and 6 when he started offering to strike the matches. Till now, he's still doing it. About 2 weeks ago, he said, "Mommy, sometimes he will strike 5, 6, 7 sticks." You know, about 3 weeks ago, he said, "Mommy, I struck only 2. Fine." Recently, this week, he's been striking just 1. We are making progress. So instead of you to say, "Oh, the child cannot do this yet," allow them. Patiently teach them. Another reason why we overparent is fear of the child getting hurt. Fear will limit them. Oh, I've seen parents before, they say, I don't like it when my child is running up and down, they are going to get hurt. I don't like my child when my child is doing this, he's going to get hurt. I sit back and I tell them, okay, let's sit back and look at it. Is your child really going to get hurt? Is your child really going to get hurt? Your child may not get hurt. It's just that your program fear. Because when you were raised, when you were raised, it was you doing these particular things was a trigger for your parents. So now you have brought it into your parenting. It's not really because your child is going to get hurt. It's just because you have untreated, unhealed trauma. Another thing is, oh, they are going to spend too much time on it. Oh, they are going to spend all time. I see this happen in the morning a lot. When parents are hurrying for school or something, they just, especially with young children, they just get it done. Even older children, they are going to get it done. And then when they are doing homework again, they say, the child will waste time on the homework. They will just get it done. Really, parenting is a long-term goal. Parenting is long-term and not short-term. If you think of short term, you are getting it wrong. If you are doing it now, that is short term. Think of the long term. Build independence. Do not help your child do what they can do. No. If you know they are going to spend too much time on it, then let them start early. Let them start early. Let them start early. That way, they will have enough. Apologies. Network threw me out, so quickly went to get some things done. Okay, now I know there are children who are naturally slow. So that is, they don't have that quick pace some other children have. So what do you want to do with such children? You want to start them off early. I shared in the Visionary Parents Academy the other time that my kids, my older son, for example, he's 12. I wake him up super early. Even when the others have 15 or 20 minutes more to sleep, he wakes up earlier than them. Unfortunately for the others, now they wake up, the alarm wakes them. I no longer wake them. So when the alarm rings, everybody wake up. Otherwise, I wake him up earlier than them. That way, if I wake him up 5 a.m. and we leave the house to school by 15, he has a whole 2 hours, 15 minutes to spend on his things. So no matter how much slow paced he is or he chooses to be, he still has enough time to handle his things by. Another reason is, oh, we always say they will not do it well. Like I said, you teach them mistakes. Yes, they learn from their mistakes, how they become independent, and that is how they grow. We also want to make them happy. See, when it comes to happiness, just imagine the short time your child is going to be with you learning. 1 year, 2 years at most. When a child leaves the house, maybe goes to the university, maybe learns a skill or learns a trade, they will no longer be with you. To the university, maybe learns a skill or learns a trade, they will no longer be with you in the house. And what does that mean? It's time for your child to be alone. So now from that 10 years till, if your child is going to live 70 years, 80 years, 100 years, that is when you are supposed to be bothered about your child's happiness. You want them to be happy in the long term, not just the short term. You can't say because you want your child is crying, oh, they have this. Okay, and then you say, oh, they have this homework they are doing, they are struggling with it, and it's making them feel unhappy. So because you don't want them to be unhappy, you are helping them with the homework. You are calling a relative that has gone past that class. Are you kidding me? How are you building their resilience? How are you building their perseverance? Really? So when they grow older tomorrow, when they now leave and they have challenges, they can't cope with it, and there's no relative for you to call, what happens? So when you talk about making your child happy, please, it is the long term you are looking at and not the short term. Let me quickly mention some of the ways we overparent our children. This class is getting too long. It's getting already 40 minutes. One, we overparent our children by always telling your child what to do. I saw this one year. I can never get over. I can't get over this. About 2 years ago, a parent just the parent is a coach, just came and was saying, this is my holiday structure for my children. You know, every single minute, um, um, wake up, bathe, read, eat, play football, bond with your discuss with mom, cook, eat. And she was sharing it proudly on social media. And I'm like, dear parents, are you kidding me? When is your child supposed to think for himself? Are you raising a robot? Even in military, where they are very disciplined and structured, they are not so regimented. Their regimentation also gives them room to think. Really? Really? Oh, what happens to, how is your child going to think? What time is your child going to think? Every single time his book is coming, you're going to get a lot of summer plans flying around. You know, that is that explains a typical parent telling the child what to do, when to wake up, when to eat, when to bathe, when to read, when to stop reading, when to play football, when to come back and eat. Every single time. There is no time, okay, there's no time in between that's okay, this time is for my child to go and do any other thing, go and play, create without you being there. Are you kidding me? Nah. So when we are always telling our children what to do, when to do it, how to do it, we are not letting them think for themselves. You are not letting them think for themselves. Sometimes they don't want to do things the way you want to do it. So, like I also say to parents that, see, if there's a particular way thing to be done for my own reason, but your child also has, they are not you. You are not them. They are a different human being. There are times they don't want to go with the things you want. Though there are, so for very many times, let them do things on their own. This is my daughter was cooking pasta for the house. This was where I sat. I sat here till she cooked the pasta. She came to present my own here. She presented my own. It was very delicious. I ate it. I enjoyed my own. The only thing is, it was not enough because I just told her to cook one pack. I was not telling myself I would have allowed her to cook more because I didn't want it to be left. Because it was super delicious, the thing, it not even reach me chop. I didn't have to go to the kitchen to tell her, okay, put this 1 spoon of oil, put 1 spoon of onions, put one. She has learned from her mistake. She has learned from my experience. I know someone will say, oh, that would be tantamount to wasting resources in this sustainable economy. That is what we call parenting. That is why we say parenting is sacrifice. When we say parenting is sacrifice, it's not theoretical, it's practical. That is one of the reasons we say parenting is sacrifice. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. So That is it. Always telling your child what to do, how to do it. Not letting them think for themselves. Not letting them network. Not letting them think for themselves. Not letting them make mistakes and learn from it will definitely hinder our possibility of raising independent children. Another thing we do is we always jump in to rescue them. Oh yes, jumping to rescue your child is stopping you from raising independent children, and your child is going to be less productive. Because when the battle gets tough, they are going to just give up. And productivity, your child needs resilience to be productive because things are going to get tough. So they will need resilience. You are going to experience challenges. They will need to be resilient to be able to resilient. You are going to experience challenges. They will need to be resilient to be able to be more productive. So when you take away, you always take. So when you take away, you always take away opportunity for them to learn. You are rescuing them. We hover around our children lemonades out of lemons when they are small. They are already building that coping skills, that defense, that mechanism, that coping mechanism for them to also make lemonades out of lemons in life. But when you always hover around them, you don't even let them make mistakes. You don't let them fail. You don't let things happen to them. Then they are not building the capacity. It is why when they become old, something happens, they give up. A lot of times they just give up away from giving up. So you want to pause, you want to stop hovering around your child. You want to stop rescuing them when they don't need rescuing. You know, except their life is in danger, except it's an emergency, please stop rescuing your child. Another thing is doing for your child what they can do for themselves. Are you kidding me? Pay what your child can do for himself. Please don't do for him. I tell my children, I won't do for you what you can do for yourself. The other day in school, and my daughter, who is graduating from primary school, came and said, and their teacher told them to choose the songs they want to sing on their own. She wasn't going to interfere. So I liked it. I said, that's a good one. Teacher actually making people independent, think for yourself. However, she came back to say the children are choosing songs that are not appropriate. You know, they are choosing inappropriate songs that have lewd content. You are going to meet your class teacher and tell your class teacher that these songs are not appropriate. It's something I would have picked up my phone to call and say, hey, the songs these children are singing is not quite appropriate. Why don't you do something about it? But I told her it's something you can handle. You know, is meet your teacher and tell her about the songs not being appropriate. And you tell her, I pointed the inappropriate lyrics in the song to her. So you can tell her that same thing. And I told them what they mean because there were some words that were not very appropriate, like I'm losing focus, I'm getting honey, something like that. I told her. So that was it. Unfortunately, she said she didn't remember, but her brother um, went to tell the HM on her behalf. That's something she can handle. So don't do for them what they can do. She had a choice. You either tell them it's not appropriate, they change the song to something more appropriate, or you forget about dancing. You have a choice. I'm not saying don't dance. Oh, you want to dance, do well to dance. However, you can't be dancing to God that doesn't, and you can't be dancing to a song that doesn't edify God. You cannot be dancing a song that doesn't honor you. Nah, you know. So you are going to meet them and tell them, okay, this song doesn't edify God, doesn't honor me as a human being. So, or you don't dance. That was it. So you can't tell your child, you can't do for your child what they should do for what they can do for themselves. That is not how to raise independent children. Fear. Okay, another thing is preventing your child from failing. I've talked about this over and over again. Um, cleaning up after your child. There are always things we do for your child. Constantly correcting your child. Yeah, trees, furniture around the house. Do you always monitor your child and tell them how to play and who to play with? Do you select your child's friends and activities? Do you help them do their homework or class project? Do you respond? Is your first response to their demand no? Will your child ask you something, you say no? Or is your first response yes? Both of them could be a result of overparenting. If they complain about not understanding how a thing is done, what do you do? Tell them immediately, or you give them time to think. Like you ask them, you throw it back. I always say you throw it back. Your child asks you something, you throw it back. You know, sometimes they ask questions, oh, they should know already. You don't yell at them, you don't tell them, you use your common sense, you throw it back. You want to know where they are coming from and why they don't understand that question or why they are asking. Do you do things for them they can do for themselves? Career day at school, do you choose a career for them? Your child does something wrong. Do you beg that the consequences be lifted, be taken away? You know, When they are asked a question, do you quickly answer for them? Parents do that a lot of time. You ask a child a question, the parent is answering. Mouth they pay the picking. Are you kidding me? It's over parenting. Nah. You tell other adults, do you tell other adults how to treat your child? Nah. Children will learn that. That's how people are. Do you readily provide solutions to their problems? Do you choose for them all the time? Do you have assigned chores to them? Do you not assign chores to them? So that is it. Now, for every empower yourself to stop over parenting. Now, this is what I want to quickly talk about before I wrap up. Empower yourself to stop parenting. First, assign chores to your children. Assign chores to your children. So the first thing I want you to do now is make a list of all the chores in the house, all the chores you have around you, from your sweeping to your cooking. Assign chores. Make a list of all the chores, and decide which chore is for every member of the family. Then take your time to teach them this chore. Every single chore, write them out. Everyone has a role to play in our family togetherness. Every single person has a role to play. It's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Everyone has a role to play. So even your 2-year-old has a role to play. So assign chore. Let them know. Have a chore list for everyone. A roster list. Mommy's chore, daddy's chore, your chore. They see it there. So when they see it there, they are not dragging their feet again. They are not, even if they are young, even if they are grown, they know that everyone has a chore. Even daddy has a chore, mommy has a chore. They have the list there. They see that everyone has a chore. So their own, they will do their own by fire, by storm. So now, if your child shows interest in an activity, do not shut him down, but teach him how to do it. Another thing, we feel, oh, they are too young to learn. No, if they show interest in an activity, don't shut them down. Teach them how to do it. How do you teach effectively? Catch them on a good day, remove distractions, get their complete attention, use a clear and calm voice, show every step of what needs to be learned, emphasize on the important aspect, model how to do it, give time to practice, give opportunity to ask questions, let them practice again and again, acknowledge their effort and make corrections. Is it negatively influencing? If your answer is no, then leave your child to explore. Stop cleaning after your child. Don't make their bed, don't clean their spills, don't clear their table, don't hang their towels. Have them go back and get things done when they forget the first time. That is it. You ask your child, go get something for me. Say, mommy, I can't find it. Go back, you will find it. Don't come to their rescue. Except you know that, okay, it's an emergency. They actually genuinely need you to rescue them. If they don't, like my daughter, for example, you tell her to go and get something. I always tell her, I know you come back and tell me you don't find it. And now she's taking it as a challenge. What she does is she comes back and tells, okay, mommy, I've checked this place, it's not here. Where is it likely going to be? Because when you ask her to get something, she just goes and comes, I can't find it. Even if the thing is right under her nose. I used to, way back then, I would just go and get it myself. Sometimes I would prefer not to send her. I will send someone else because she will go and come back and say she's more productive. Skills your child need to be more independent. The areas you need to focus on. I want to rush this so that network doesn't leave me hanging again. The first thing is self-care skills. You need to sit down and teach them how to take care of themselves. Self-care skills, how to groom themselves, personal hygiene, dressing, eating, self-care skills. The next skill they need is household skills around the house, the chores they do around the house. The cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, they are all household skills your child needs to help your child grow independent. I agree with every other thing, but that of putting on the gas, they have to wait until they are 10 years at least. Why do they have to wait until they are 10 years, ma? Why do they have to wait until they are 10 years, ma? So you want to sit back and look at it. Why do you want them to wait until they are 10 years? Let's talk about this. My son is 7 years and he's making good progress. Why do they have to wait until they are 10 years? You just need to teach them. That is it. And then you observe kitchen safety. What are your fears? That the kitchen will get, they will, I don't get it. What is the fear in lighting the gas, really? If your cylinder is in the kitchen, it's even at risk. If the same reasons that will make not lighting the gas for your 5 years or for your 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, the same reason that will make them make the same mistake they are likely to make is the same mistake you are likely to make. So you put measures on ground not to make that mistake. I'm not saying don't do it if you're not comfortable. If you don't have measures, don't do it. For example, my cylinder is outside. So the likelihood of catching fire is greatly minimal. It's outside. That is it. That's one. Secondly, before you even begin to teach your children how to light the burner, then you would have taught them about safety. For example, when you are coming to the kitchen, you don't just wake up, go to the kitchen and strike the matches. No. You go to the kitchen, you pause and observe. Is there smell? If there is gas smell, then you know that you don't like the matches. Even you as an adult, if there is gas smell, you strike the matches, it is going to catch fire. So you pause and observe. Is there smell coming from anywhere? There is no smell. The kitchen doesn't smell gas, then you can go ahead. Then what is the next thing you do? You want to turn it, you want to strike the matches, and then you turn it off and put it. So you teach them. Who told you a 7-year-old cannot learn? Teach a 7-year-old. Start now. Teach them with supervision. Be supervising them and teach them. It is what we always think they cannot. Teach them with supervision. You will see, you'll be amazed that they're actually learning. If you're not comfortable, it's okay. But me, I'm comfortable. I've learned that it's doable, you know. So they liked it. You teach them. Another thing you teach them is when there is fire outbreak, what do? Don't use water. Use fire extinguisher. You get fire extinguisher around the house. You have in the car. You show them where it is in the car and what they can probably use or other alternatives they can use. You teach them because these things can also happen to adults. No, it doesn't happen because they are children. It can happen to adults. It happens because there are certain things that are wrong somewhere. So if those things are still wrong, it will still happen as an adult if you don't take care. You know, I remember when I was growing up, my mom had a gas accident. I was in the house when it happened. She was in the kitchen. It was her that was boiling water to make pap that morning when it happened. It was not nobody else. No, maybe if it was me, it would have been, oh, it was because she's a child, a teenager should not handle gas or something. I was careless or something. No, the thing was leaking and we didn't have the sense to say, oh, when she got to the kitchen, according to her, she perceived that this gas was leaking. But it didn't click. She didn't think very well. She just went ahead. And I was in the kitchen when the flame of fire I was in the other room after the kitchen because we used to do this. We used to have like a mini company in the house where we produce items. I was there producing when like a blue flame just ran to the kitchen. So, and I heard my mom say, oh, Mother Mary, because she's a Catholic, and that was it. You know, I got there, I saw that she had blisters. For a long time, she had blisters, she was healing. Now you see my mom, she has a bit of mark here, but they are almost fading, even her legs, they're almost fading, but they are still there. So you teach, you tell them from the start. Someone once asked me a question a long time because I too was also against having children do certain things before I became very intentional, before I became more aware. Someone asked me a question, say, God forbid you pass tomorrow and your child goes to stay with someone and the person is someone who is mean. How will your child navigate those things? And I said, well, I answered her that, okay, it's because the person is mean. The person is not mean. The person will not expect certain things from certain children, but that is the truth. But the reality again is, at least if your child has a bit of skills, we are not praying for bad thing will not happen. If your child has certain skills, your child will be able to navigate situations better. So what you need to do is just to teach. Don't think they don't know. They can think. And again, every child is not the same. Depends on the child you have. Every child is not the same. Like my 7-year-old child, he's a child that is naturally organized. He's naturally, I don't know how to put it. There are some children that by their nature, then they are by their nature, they are, I don't know, I'm looking for the word. They are, by their nature, they are more reliable than others. I have 3 kids. There are some that are by their nature, they are reliable. You can depend on them just by their nature. So all you need to do is a bit teaching. You teach them a little, and you'll be surprised how much they will fare. You know, compared to others that may even be older than them. You know, those older than them may even struggle than them. So my 7-year-old is that kind of a child that is naturally, that has that tendency. I don't know if it's naturally with him or because I started with him very early, because he's 7 and he's always seen me. He's literally, I've been intentional in my parenting for about 8 years or more over that. So he grew into the system. So it's easy for him to just flow with it. Okay, at least 10 years. Are you kidding me? So if you're not in the house, your child 10 years old, your child 8 years, 7 years, and 9 years, 9 years at least will not be able to cook their food and eat. They will not be able to cook their food and eat. So you have to be in the house for your 9-year-old, your preteen should be to be able to cook their food and eat. How about now? How about now? How about now? Really? Anyways, I said self-care skills, I said household skills, I said organizational skills. It is very important. You cannot take organizational skills away from productivity. You cannot take it away from your child being independent. Then another skill is social skills, yes, safety skills, financial skills, emotional skills, academic skills, social responsibilities, and all of that. Now, these are some of the skills your child needs. You need to focus on. You need to create a curriculum around. As a parent, you tell your child that, okay, at this phase, my child is going to learn X, Y, Z. That is it. That is what I do. I share some of the things I do. I just shared one here earlier on. I said, when my kids were much younger, they had a roster for everything. Even till now, we still have self-leadership. We still have rotational leadership, but we don't have roster. I almost don't have roster for anything. Even for their dishes, I don't have, because they've grown to that age where they can. Now is a natural consequence of their actions they face. So I tell them that if you don't take responsibility, if you don't use it responsible, if you are not responsible with a thing, it will be taken away. You will lose it. It is not even to be taken away from you. If you're not responsible with a thing, you will lose it. So we've learned a conflict resolution skill. So if you are arguing, you are going over the limits. You are arguing over the limit, over something that it simply means that you are not responsible with that thing. So we define, what we do in my house is we define. I tell them, so you measure them against the expectations you have. So if they meet the expectations, they are productive. So set clear expectations, encourage goal setting. I've talked about this. That is one of the tools you are using in the Skill Up Your Child challenge. Set goals, daily goals. I've talked about it. We do it every day. And if you're not taking action, there's nothing I can do about it. I didn't promise you magic. I promise you result when you take action. And provide opportunities to practice independence. I've talked about this. That's what we've been talking about from the beginning of this class till now. Provide opportunity for your child to practice independence. Provide opportunities for them. Let them make mistakes. Let them learn. Don't always jump in the way to rescue them. Don't always hover around them. Don't give them chores, please. Then offer guidance and not always answers. No, offer guidance and not answers. Like I just shared my daughter's own with you. When the songs were inappropriate, what did I tell her? I guided her. They are not appropriate, and this is why. So you are going to meet your teacher and tell your teacher, I'm not going to do it for you. No, you can do it yourself. It's something you can do. Go there, tell your teacher, and all of that. If you still not comfortable, tell your HM. If they are still insisting, then you come back. That's when I know it's beyond you. I go and talk to them. But say I'll go the first time now, I won't talk to your teacher. I will only talk to your HM, and that is when you have talked to your teacher and you have also talked to your HM, I will come in. So don't always just jump into except, again, there are limits to everything, except it's life-threatening, it's an emergency, it's really something they cannot handle. But most times, everything they come to report to you from school, everything they have is something they can handle. So why will you not go and be handling for them what they can handle? And lastly, create a supportive environment. Create an environment that inspires independence, an environment that inspires productivity. You can't want to raise a productive child and your environment does not inspire productivity. You cannot want to raise an independent child and your environment does not inspire independence. You sit back, you are not modeling it, you are always dependent on, your children realize that you are not even independent. You are always, I don't know how to explain further. So however, you just need to create an environment that inspires independence and productivity in your home to be able to raise independent and productive children. Again, is our motto of Skill Up, our motto of Upskill Your Child, raising productive and independent children. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Enimia Orebo, and I am the lead coach at the Visionary Parent Academy. See you next time.